Hey guys, good evening. Oh, hello, hello. Good evening, you guys. Welcome to the Thursday restorative yoga class. As per usual, this is what, like a month in now. Hopefully, you have your props all kind of arranged and ready to go. You've got your blanket, you've got your blocks or your books. Hello, one. Hello, two. And if you have an eye mask, that's perfect. Otherwise, you know what I found? I found this little guy today. He's my little hippo neck warmer. So I'm actually going to use him and I'm going to show you guys how when we get into one of our restorative poses. Finally, make sure that you have a chair. I'm going to pull this back so that you can see it. Make sure that your chair or coffee table, whatever it is, it just needs to be in such a manner that when you lie down, your legs can be at 90 degrees. So make sure that there's a space for your legs to go through. All right. Okay. Now that we've got all of our goods nice and settled, I hope you're doing really well today. We are going to do a nice rest and reset class. I always find that by the time Thursday rolls around, rest and reset is usually pretty welcome, depending on how your week went. And quite honestly, whether it went well or whether it went a little bit hectic, I think both ways are are good to take a little bit of time for restoring. Without further ado, let's just get into it. Go ahead, cross your legs in Sukhasana, or if your knees are hurt or injured, you can stretch them out. Plant your hands over top of your knees and palms face the sky. Whenever you're ready, inhale, deep inhale. And exhale, allow your eyes to close. And let's settle into our grounding with one releasing breath. A long, deep inhale through your nose. And don't hold back. Sigh out through your mouth. Any heaviness from your week, from your day, let it all go. And with each subsequent exhale, allow yourself the space to continue to let go and allow yourself the permission to arrive. Sometimes we're not even aware of things that might be going on internally, especially if the external world has been very busy, a lot of hustle and bustle. And so when you arrive into your own body, you can feel yourself arriving because you begin to notice body sensations that you might not otherwise pay attention to. And perhaps you notice tension throughout your body that you have been holding all day long. Do your first body scan and just notice from your head down to your toes where you might be holding that tension in your body and just simply soften. And to make sure that we haven't missed any places, I'll guide you through. Notice the crown of your head, softening the space between your brows, your neck, your shoulders. Allow your arms to hang heavy by your sides. The point of contact between your wrist and your knees or your legs, helping to hold your arms up. Allow there to be a sense of ease all the way down through your back, your hips, and the inner edges of your legs. And perhaps even plant a hand over your heart. And as you gently lean into your hand, saying to yourself in your mind's eye, I'm here now. I'm here now. And with that, a sense of freedom because you recognize that you have arrived. You have arrived. There is nowhere else that you need to be right now. There is nothing else that you need to do. This is your 60-minute practice. And if only for the next 60 minutes, all you need to do, just be and just breathe. On that note, notice your breath. You don't have to shift anything just yet. The way that we breathe can be such a great indication of our internal world. Usually, short, fragmented breathing is an indication that there's turbulence going in our internal world. If that's the case with you tonight, just bring a gentle sense of awareness into it. There's nothing that you need to try to solve, and there's nothing that you need to try to fix, but rather just a gentle, no strings attached acknowledgement. And then begin to shift your breath so that on your next inhale, you take a nice long inhale, feeling that cool air draw up your nostrils, down the back of your throat and into both lungs. And exhale out through your nose. Inhale, long, deep inhale, cool air through your nostrils, down the back of your throat, filling both lungs. And exhale. Smooth, complete exhale. And even as you resume normal breathing, notice that your breath is a little bit longer, a little bit fuller. And as you breathe a little bit fuller, a little bit deeper, notice that your pace slows down. Slow, slow. Much slower than before you came onto the mat. Maybe just tune into that mind chatter a little bit. Just checking in to see how loud or how quiet that mind chatter is. And as of each thought was a little vehicle, a car or a bus or a truck all on its own, imagining it just kind of drifting off, driving off, almost out of your head and off of your shoulders. So you're not trying to stop these thoughts or to have no thoughts whatsoever, but simply you're not going to get in that car or that vehicle and take a ride with it. In fact, you're just going to watch them continue driving out through your head, down your shoulders, and away. And then simply, I'm going to borrow this from Eckhart Tolle and how he guides us to presence. Ask yourself, am I breathing? How do you know that you're breathing? This is a question not for thought, not for the thinking mind, but it is more for the body, the feeling mind, so to speak, the feeling brain that you have. So simply asking yourself that simple question, how do I know I'm breathing? You move from your head and into your heart. And it's in the heart of your heart where you're going to find that ever present sense of stillness, peace, and calm. On your next inhale, gently open your eyes and moving slower than you want, arms up toward the sky. Stretch up, reach up, and sway from side to side. Gently allow your hands to come down and take a gentle twist. Left hand over your right knee, right hand behind you. Inhale, take your time, sit tall, tall spine. And exhale, allow your ribs to rotate around the axis of your spine. A gentle twist. Inhale back to center. Another side. Right hand over your left knee, left hand behind you. Inhale, sit tall, and exhale, a gentle twist. Your ribs rotating around the axis of your spine. Inhale, come on back to center. Let's open up our neckline. Right ear to right shoulder. Right hand over top of your head, not pulling, but gently allowing the natural weight of your right arm to give that left neckline a little bit of traction. That left hand can plant down onto the ground if you'd like. And inhale, head comes up, hand comes down. Left ear to left shoulder, left hand over top of your head. Notice that left ear drifting away, or that right ear drifting away from that right shoulder, and perhaps that right hand even comes down toward the ground beside you. Inhale, head comes up, hand comes down. We'll do a gentle flow. Just open up our body and the restlessness that might be happening within us. Okay, hands come forward, feet behind, tabletop position, and get into your cat cows. Inhale, tailbone to the sky, and gaze up to the ceiling. Exhale, round your back, moving slower than you want. Inhale, tailbone to the sky, gaze up to the ceiling. Cat cows, exhale, round your back. Press your hands into the ground, dome up that upper back, upper shoulder area. Find space. I know it gets really tight around the shoulders. 3 or 4 more at your own pace. And then you might become inclined to begin moving in all sorts of different ways. Explore the movements that you feel inclined to do. And do a little bit of body awareness. If your hips are tight, maybe you feel inclined to do some hip circles. If your shoulders are tight, shoulder circles are really good. Just with a kind of a gentle, playful attitude, testing out some movements. Eventually come back to tabletop position and inhale. Right arm up toward the sky. Exhale. Sweep that right arm underneath the left and land on your right shoulder and your head to follow. If you'd like, you can wrap that left hand behind your back toward your right hip. You might even extend that left leg out beside you for a little bit of stability. Left leg comes back in, left hand back down beside you, and inhale, right arm up toward the sky. Exhale, plant that right hand back down. Other side, inhale, left arm up toward the sky. Open up that chest, might feel tight depending on what you've done all day. And exhale, sweep that left arm underneath the right. Maybe wrapping that right hand behind your back towards your left hip. Maybe extending that right leg out beside you. And exhale. Right hand comes back down beside you, right leg back in to meet the left. And nice, slow, and controlled. Inhale, left arm up toward the sky. Open up that chest. And exhale. Left hand comes all the way back down. Big toes come together. Knees as wide as your mat. Child's pose. Allow your sit bones to reach down toward your heels, your forehead down onto the mat. And your arms, you can choose where you'd like them. If you want to continue opening up that backside, then perhaps you tense your fingers and you reach your fingertips toward the top of the mat. Otherwise, if you're ready for rest right away, allow your elbows to plant down onto the mat. And focus on the back side of your body. So on your next inhale, breathe a deep inhale into the back side of your body, the back of your heart, the back of your lungs, opening up any spaces that feel stagnated. Exhale, letting it go. Inhale, opening up the back of your heart, back of your lungs. Exhale, letting it go. Sink in deeper. Noticing the connection between your forehead and your mat. And allowing this connection between your forehead and the mat and in turn the earth to ground you. That sense of you have arrived. Inhale. Rise all the way back up, tabletop position, and lower all the way down onto your belly. Let's come into Sphinx pose. So maybe I'll move this so that you can see. With Sphinx pose, place your forearms down on the mat, the tops of your feet down on the mat, and move this a little further. Whenever you're ready, inhale, lift up with your heart. The crown of your head comes up toward the top of the ceiling. If this feels good for you, just stick around here. If you want a little bit more, then perhaps you tense your fingers and you rise all the way up into Cobra. We won't be here for too long. If you feel compression in that low back, allow yourself to come down a little bit more. Only take as much as you need, as much as you want. Feel your abdominals opening up the front of your throat. Not only is this opening up your chest, which is going to help alleviate any shoulder tension, but sometimes throughout our days, throughout our weeks, we might feel stifled, as if we're not heard or we can't use our voice. And so Sphinx pose or Cobra is going to help open up that throat chakra. Exhale, lower all the way down. Very nice. Bring yourself onto your back. I'm just going to flip over like a pancake. I don't know what the front of my mat and the back of my mat is anymore. Okay, the soles of your feet down on the mat. Draw your left foot a little bit closer towards your sit bones and cross that right leg over your left. Reclined pigeon. If this feels good for you, stick around here. If you want a little bit more, perhaps you place that left foot on a block. Otherwise, if you want a lot more, go ahead, move slow. Pick that left foot up hug the back of your left hamstring. Both sets of toes are more or less pointed up toward the sky. And then gently allow that left foot to come all the way back down into your chest. If it doesn't hurt your back in any way, shape, or form, lower that left leg, your knee into your chest. Draw a little bit closer. Oh, I think my sound's gonna go. Oh, okay. Hopefully, my mic is back on and you guys are able to hear me. If not, I am going to check the comment section. So just let me know if it's hard to hear. I know my lately. Hi, Nat. The back right hand all the way up toward the sky, getting a little bit of a hamstring opening here. You don't need a lot. Keep this gentle. This is your restorative class, so nothing should be shaking. Everything should feel good, so only take as much as you want, as much as you need. Nice. Go ahead. Hug that right knee into your chest. Come down. Other side, left foot crosses over your right, and you choose what you'd like to have that right foot down, place it up on a block, or pick that right leg up all together, hanging onto the back of that right hamstring. Tonight is the practice of feeling good, of taking rest. We do enough as it is, and quite honestly, I think we err more on the side of being too hard on ourselves rather than being too easy on ourselves. It might even feel strange and unfamiliar to cut ourselves some slack, take it easy. And yet, it's in this sense of ease, this sense of flow, that we're then able to move forward. It's all about balance, the yin and the yang. Okay, gently allow that right foot to come all the way down. Hug that left knee in. Allow that right leg to onto the mat, as long as it doesn't hurt your back in any way. If it does, left knee a little bit closer towards your armpit. And see where you can find ease in this posture. I mean, the whole thing is pretty relaxing as it is. But is there anywhere in your body that you're holding tension? If there is, just simply allow it to soften. Breathe a little bit deeper. Nice. Go ahead, take your hands, gently release it from your shin, and place your hands back, or if you'd like it. To that left leg. Left foot to come down on the mat, the right foot to come down on the mat. Take your um, block or your book, and with your legs about hip distance apart, you want to be able to graze the backs of your heels as you extend. Getting ready for a restorative bridge. Whenever you're ready, press your feet into the mat, lift your hips just enough so that you on medium or on low. And then your books, one or two books, I suppose that's how we can measure it, underneath your sacrum. Allow your entire sacrum to be fully supported and can be out beside you. You can play around with the nerve that gets our bodies to if your mind drifts, then we'll do our breaths, counting the breath. Inhale for 1, exhale for 2, slow, slow. Inhale 3, full deep breath. Exhale 4, all the way up until 10. And after that 10th breath, gently press your feet into the ground. Lift your hips up toward the sky And remove the block or book from underneath you, lowering all the way down onto your back. And just notice your breathing. Notice if there's been any shifts within you. Then hug your knees into your chest, rock from side to side. Eventually, tip on over to one side or the other. And slowly, slower than you want, use your hands to help you up. Seated position. And as you arrive, we're actually going to go ahead and take a short bound angle. The soles of your feet come together, your hands cup toward the outer edges of your feet. Inhale, sit tall. And exhale. Only if it feels good, fold forward. Otherwise, you can stay exactly as you are, seated tall, allowing the inner edges of your legs to soften. Okay, and let's take this as a restorative posture. Take your blocks, or if you have a bolster, take your bolster along with you. You can do this a number of different ways. All you want is support for your head, so you can place one block on top of another until your forehead is able to come down onto the block. Or if you have a bolster or a pillow, you can place the pillow against the block and lower yourself so that your forehead comes down onto the pillow. Whatever feels most supportive. And nothing strenuous, nothing is straining. Everything just feels good. This gentle lengthening of your inner leg line. Past few classes, I've been talking a lot about Martha Beck's change cycle. And I love the change cycle. It's very relevant for what we're going through in the world today. The change cycle depicts the four phases that we go through in every major change. There's something to be said about feeling the relief and validation of knowing and understanding what's even going on. The chaos seems all that much worse when something's happening to us or for us and we have no idea what to expect and what is even going on. And when we can understand what's actually happening, as the change cycle helps us understand, then we're able to take action, help move through whatever it is that we're going through with a lot more ease. So recently, like as in today, I actually just did a podcast on phase one of the change cycle. And I think phase one is a doozy. That's like probably the hardest part, I'd say. The analogy of the change cycle is that of a caterpillar changing into a butterfly. And stage one is when the caterpillar, it's so cool. I've told you guys this before. When a caterpillar changes into a butterfly, it first makes itself a little cocoon and it actually completely deconstructs until it's caterpillar soup. And for us, whenever we're going through a major change, whether it be becoming a parent, falling in love, or changing careers, or, the pandemic that we're in right now, it can feel very much like that. Like as if our life is crumbling around us and we're turning into kind of like a little person soup. And it can feel chaotic and scary and uncertain. But resisting will only make the process harder. Resisting will only slow down the process. And what you're doing right now, this restorative yoga, this being present, this, this is how you get through that phase with more ease. Inhale, rise all the way back up, slower than you want so you don't get a head rush. Nice. We'll get into something a little bit similar, still targeting the inner edges of our legs. Draw your legs out into a nice wide V. Use your hands, remove your fleshy bits of the sit bones away from you. And you don't have to flex it very hard, but your feet are more or less pointing upward. Okay, same thing here with your bolster, or I usually like it with my blocks/books. Go ahead, sit tall, hands behind you, tall spine. Imagine your spine extending past the top of your head. And then exhale, fold forward, your forehead landing on the blocks. And the blocks might come a little closer, they might come a little bit further, depending on where you are today and the openness of your inner leg line. You might not want the blocks at all. Maybe it's easy for you to come down onto your elbows and then maybe elbows onto a block. Soften your body. Soften your inner leg line. Last week, I prepared 3 readings for you. Um, Poems that really helped, I found, bring me into presence, and I wanted to share it with you. Also, last week I had mic issues, so I'm going to read them out to you again this week as it is still relevant. And this first one is by Dana Faulds. Allow. There is no controlling life. Try corralling a lightning bolt containing a tornado. Dam a stream and it will create a new channel. Resist the tide, and the tide will sweep you off your feet. Allow, and grace will carry you to higher ground. The only safety lies in letting it in, letting it all in. The wild and the weak, fear, fantasies, failures, and success. When loss rips off the doors of the heart, or sadness veils your vision with despair, practice becomes simply bearing the truth. In the choice to let go of your own known way of being, the whole world is revealed to your new eyes. Inhale, slower than you'd like. Rise all the way back up. Nice. And use your hands. Gently bring a bend into your knees. Draw your legs together. Sweep your legs behind you. Take your pillow. Place it lengthwise toward the front of your mat. And let's take a supported pigeon. Let's start with the right hand side. So right leg crosses to your left hand. Whichever way feels best, feels easiest to get into this posture. With your pillow or bolster, and you can use either one or two depending on how much support you want tonight. Inhale, sit tall, and exhale, fold forward. As long as you feel an opening through that right hip, you're good to go. You might actually want to take that extra pillow or maybe an extra block to place it underneath that right hip for support. Again, nothing is going to shake tonight. Everything is about softening. And I love that poem that I just read you. The only safety lies in letting it all in. And when loss rips off the doors of the heart or sadness veils your vision with despair, practice becomes simply bearing the truth. In the choice to let go of your known way of being, the whole world is revealed to your new eyes. In the choice to let go of your known way of being. That's the caterpillar. It's completely losing its identity, its way of life. It'll never be the same again. And it might not know this right away, but it's undergoing the very first stages of transformation. Something that it might not have been able to dream of as a caterpillar. But as caterpillar soup, yeah, seems totally possible to become a butterfly. And when it does become that butterfly, it gets to see the world with a whole new set of eyes. Resist and the tide will sweep you off your feet, she says, Dana folds. Resisting will slow down this first phase of the change cycle. It'll make it harder. It's like as if you're a caterpillar deconstructing into caterpillar soup. You know what? The caterpillar can't really change its mind and be like, actually, wait, I don't know where this is going. I want to become a caterpillar again. Like, reconstruct me now back into a caterpillar. The transformation has already taken place. So rather than denying the transformation or trying to wait for things to get back to normal, the best thing that you can do if this is the phase of life you find yourself in is to let the dust settle and stay in presence. Give yourself space to rest, to burrow or be a little burrito if that's what it feels like you need to do. Whereas Martha Beck says, cocoon, your little safe space while all of this is taking place. Because this too, even though it looks like not so much on the outside, is a lot of work. It's a lot of inner shifting on the inside. Inhale, slowly come up onto the palms of your hands. Tuck your left toes underneath the mat. Maybe you feel like stretching your right leg out to meet the left. Maybe not. You can come into tabletop instead and simply switch sides. Left foot behind your right wrist. Lengthen that right foot out behind you. Inhale, sit tall. Make any necessary adjustments that you'd like to feel the most comfortable. And go ahead, exhale, fold forward. Notice if there's any part of you that's gripping, that's still trying to hang on. Simply allow it to soften. Soften your glutes. Your arms seem to be exerting a lot of energy to help keep you up, then perhaps you use a second pillow. Your next breath, slowly begin to rise up, tucking your right toes underneath the mat and stretching that left leg out behind you, or just coming to tabletop, whichever feels good. And eventually, take the pillow, remove it off to the side, and now it's time to grab that chair or table. If you have a coffee table, that'll do just fine. Place one pillow underneath your head. Take your blanket, just make sure that it's available to wrap around your body. That second pillow you can use underneath your sacrum if you want a little bit of support. I know that I don't really need it, so I'm just going to leave it on the side. And then if you also have an eye mask or a little, just something heavy, it can even be that second pillow that's available to you. Go ahead, sweep your legs up above the chair, allowing it to land at about 90 degrees. And what you're doing here is you're creating your cocoon. Take your blanket, maybe over your feet, and all the way through the front of your body, allowing yourself to feel good, feel comfortable. If you have an eye mask, now's a good time, or an eye pillow, now's a good time to use that eye mask or eye pillow. And this is where it feels so nice. If you have kind of like a little heat pack like mine, nothing too heavy, you can even place it on the very top of your head. And that's just going to help you feel grounded. Your hands can be on your belly or they can be out by your sides. Play around with a couple of different positions as to what feels good. That extra pillow that you have, if you don't have kind of a heat bag to place over top of your forehead, even a little towel will do. You can place the pillow up above. Just notice your sacrum feeling fully supported by the mat underneath you. Take a releasing breath here. A long, deep inhale through your nose. And exhale, side out through your mouth. Sink in, sink down. And as once again your legs are above your head, you're continuing to ask your body to come back into the rest and restore phase. Your legs are crossed, simply uncross it. Soften your arms. And use your breath to settle in. On your inhales, you're gently restoring. On your exhales, you let go. Inhale for 1, restore. Exhale for 2, let go. Inhale for 3, restore. Exhale for 4, all the way up until 10. And at one point, when you're completely settled into this pose, you feel everything letting go. It's like as if your body got the message. Your shoulders soften away from your ears, your neck, and your head. A little bit more ease as it knows now that it will be and is already supported. Each exhale draws you in a little bit deeper. Let go. Another Dana Folds poem. Let go of the ways you thought life would unfold, the holding of plans or dreams or expectations. Let it all go. Save your strength to swim with the tide. The choice to fight what is here before you now will only result in struggle, fear, and desperate attempts to flee from the very energy you long for. Let go. Let it all go and flow with the grace that washes through your days, whether you received it gently or with all your quills raised to defend against invaders. Take this on faith. The mind may never find the explanations that it seeks, but you will move forward nonetheless. Let go, and the wave's crest will carry you to the unknown shores beyond your wildest dreams or destinations. Let it all go and find the place of rest and peace and certain transformation. You need to let go who you are in order to become who you're meant to be. The caterpillar doesn't know that it's going to change into the butterfly yet. If you're going through a major change, or you're feeling the pressure of the current world state of world affairs, and you feel very much like as if your life is crumbling, take comfort in knowing that this is the first step in your transformation. You're on your way to becoming a butterfly. You might not see it yet, you might not know it yet. And that's where you have the trust that you're on your way. Because whether you received it gently or with all your quills raised to defend against invaders, it's happening. Life is unfolding for you. If you'd like to take the remainder of your practice as you are, with your legs up a chair, remain exactly where you are. Otherwise, prepare yourself for the final posture of the evening, Shavasana. Possible, make as little movement as possible, maybe just slipping your feet off of the chair and onto your mat or off of the table and onto the mat. But if you need to, you can move whatever aside that you need. Keep the blanket on top of you if that feels good. Keep the pillow behind your head if that feels good. And if you're in Shavasana, eventually you find yourself with your feet flopped out to either way, straight out in front of you. Your hands down beside you, palms facing the sky. And let's settle in with one releasing breath. A long, deep inhale through your nose. Don't hold back. Exhale, sigh it out through your mouth. Sink in, sink down. Allow your eyes to drift to the back of your head down into the mat or your pillow. And this softening of your whole body from your head all the way down to your toes. And to help you settle in even deeper, we'll come back to this question of how do you know you're breathing? How do you know you're breathing? As you settle in, and every single part of you softens. Allow yourself to float, to drift, breathing in these long, deep inhales, long, deep exhales. Surrendering in your Shavasana and letting rest take over. Final reading that I have for you tonight is a poem by the very wise and popular Sufi poet Rumi. Zero circle. Be helpless, dumbfounded, unable to say yes or no. Then a stretcher will come from grace to gather us up. We are too dull eyed to see that beauty. If we can say we can, we're lying. If we say no, we don't see it, that no will behead us and shut tight our window into spirit. So let us rather not be sure of anything besides ourselves, and only that, so miraculous beings come running to help, crazed, lying in a zero circle, mute. We shall be saying finally, with tremendous eloquence, lead us. When we have totally surrendered to that beauty, we shall be a mighty kindness. Only when we're willing to completely surrender, to become that caterpillar soup without resistance, then a stretcher will come from grace to gather us up. If you can, stay in Shavasana for as long as you can. Lying here as you take your rest and you allow yourself to replenish. And you allow yourself to reconnect to the peace, the ever present clarity and stillness within you. You do need to get up. Do so very slowly, slower than you'd like, keeping the tempo and the pace of the practice in which we cultivated so that you can continue on your evening with that sense of clarity and that sense of stillness intact. Wherever you are, I'm going to leave you here, wishing you a wonderful rest of your evening, wishing you a wonderful weekend. I'll see you again soon. Namaste.